My brother and I were reborn to the day when the wealthiest dude on Wall Street took us in. She gestured toward me and said, "Hey, bro, you're my sister's hero. It'd be awesome if you could adopt her." I was cool with it. In the end, the billionaire adopted me. My sister smirked and told me, "Sis, this time you get to handle the crazy life of a rich family, and I'll have a smoother ride." In our past lives, she became a high society figure after being adopted, while I was taken in by a struggling family and somehow rose to success, becoming nouveau riche. She decided to switch our lives. But dear sis, those hefty resources are just gonna help me climb faster. I've always relied on my smarts. "Hey bro, you're my sister's hero. It'd be awesome if you could adopt her." I was chill with it. When I heard her say that, I knew she got reborn too. Last time to be adopted, she locked me up so the rich guy couldn't even see me. She got taken home by them. A few days later, a poor couple adopted me. From the day they brought me home, their lives skyrocketed, and eventually they became wealthy in the area. I saw my sister again at a party. She was decked out in skimpy outfits, mixing with all the big names, people constantly touching her and forcing drinks down her throat. Even though she handled it like a pro, she cracked the moment she saw me. She pulled me up to the rooftop and yelled into the wind, "Do you even know what kind of life I've been living these years? They trained me to be a socialite, making me sleep with all sorts of men. You're my sister, and you're rich now. Why didn't you come to save me? You deserve to die." Then she shoved me off the roof without a second thought, and I dragged her down with me. Now that she's been reborn, she rushed to grab my previous life. The billionaire couldn't stop smirking at my sister's words and decided to adopt me immediately. My sister was pumped. "Sis, this time you get to handle the crazy life of a rich family, and I'll have a smoother ride." I paused while packing my stuff, pretending to miss her. "What did you say?" She waved me off with a grin. "Catch you later, sis." I left the orphanage with the billionaire. Her excited gaze followed me the entire way. She must be really hyped for herself, thinking she snagged my life first this time. But how will my sister ever know? In reality, the wealthy life was mine, not the life with the struggling couple. How could she take that away? Before bringing me home, the billionaire couple had me undergo numerous tests, both physical and mental. They were super impressed with the results. "Jake, let's head home," the billionaire's wife said, finally taking my hand with a warm smile. On the way, the billionaire suddenly asked, "You said I'm your hero, so what is it about me that you admire?" I blinked and gave a naive, innocent look, then confidently answered, "I read about you in an article. I admire your skills and accomplishments in the business world. I want to build my own empire like you one day." This answer really made the billionaire happy. "You read newspapers? You're so young to be reading them." I nodded. "I've been into this stuff since I was a kid." The billionaire couple exchanged glances, as if to say they made the right choice with this kid. After they brought me home, they signed me up for all sorts of classes: flower arranging, tea ceremonies, piano, jewelry design, etiquette, and even emotional intelligence courses. After dinner, I'd watch an hour of financial news with the billionaire. They didn't treat me like a typical kid, but I mean, kids from such families are naturally subjected to elite education from a young age. My schedule was jam-packed every day. A month later, the billionaire couple was even more impressed with me, their eyes now soft with pride and warmth. One evening, after watching financial news with the billionaire, his wife took me to her wardrobe. Pointing at a cabinet full of jewelry, she gently patted my head and said, "Jake, pick whichever you like." "Thanks, Mom," I said obediently and continued. "Mom, I can recognize the brands by style, but I'm not really into this stuff. I'm not Lily." She's been adopted by the struggling couple. In the month I've been here, I realized they never intended to raise an adopted child to be a socialite from the start. Lily's fate last time was partly due to her own greed and short-sightedness, getting lost in the flashy world without learning other skills. The billionaire's wife looked at me with a complex gaze, sighed softly, and asked, "What do you like then?" I held her warm hand. "Mom, will you give me anything I want?" After a brief pause, she hid the complexity in her eyes and nodded. "Sure, tell me." I looked up at her, making sure I looked like an innocent, lovable kid. "Mom, books say that moms tell bedtime stories to kids before bed. Even though I'm 8 now, I've never heard one. Mom, can you tell me a bedtime story tonight?" She leaned down, stroking my head softly, her eyes full of warmth and love. Okay, from now on, I'll tell you a story every night. What's easier than tapping into a woman's maternal instincts to win her over? That night, she wrapped me in her arms and told me the story of Cinderella. After finishing, she asked, Jake, do you envy Cinderella? Someday you'll meet your prince too. I slightly lifted my head. Mom, did you meet your prince? Her gaze drifted somewhere, taking her thoughts with it. After a moment, she came back and smiled. No. The warm yellow lamp illuminated her face, and I noticed a hint of bitterness at the corner of her mouth. She asked me again, Jake, you learn so much every day, doesn't it tire you out? If you don't want to study, I can talk to your dad and we can wait until you're a bit older. And remember, you're already our child. You don't have to work so hard. When you grow up, I'll find you an outstanding man to marry, and you won't have to worry about a thing for the rest of your life. I realized the billionaireess truly saw me as her daughter. Maybe, in a past life, she'd said the same to Lily. What choice did Lily make? Probably different from mine. In the arms of the billionaireess, I shook my head. Mom, I don't want to get married. I want to be just like you. The billionaireess chuckled. Like me? What do you mean? Mom, you're amazing and capable. I want to be strong just like you. And if I could be as beautiful as you, that would be even better. The billionaire couple didn't achieve their success just on smarts and skills. They met when they had nothing and stood by each other through thick and thin until today's success. Their story is famous in social circles. But I guess some men can endure hardships, but not prosperity. Nowadays, the billionaire is so lost in the high life, he can't seem to find his way out. I think the billionaireess might miss the days when they struggled together. Her voice was distant and ethereal above me. It's a hard road, sweetheart. I'm not afraid, I said firmly. If you can do it, Mom, so can I. I want to be just as remarkable. She kissed my forehead with a smile. All right, I'll help you. After that, she poured even more effort into raising me, almost investing every bit of her energy. When she first started the business, she worked herself to the bone, which is how she ended up with health issues and couldn't have children. She always told me she didn't want me to suffer the way she did. Every time I hugged her and said, Mom, when I grow up, I'll protect you. No more suffering for you. She smiled, content. With you around, sweetheart, I feel no hardship at all. I had been with the billionaire family for 6 months. At breakfast one morning, the billionaireess said suddenly, It's time to officially recognize Jake. I've already planned an event set for the 1st of next month. We will announce Jake as the eldest daughter of the Montclair family. Plus, we will each give her a 2% share of the company. The billionaire frowned slightly, surprised. Isn't this a bit rushed? Can't we wait? Wait for what? She retorted with a cold smile, contempt in her eyes. For you to bring your illegitimate kids here. The billionaire glanced at me, lowering his voice. Jake's here. Don't say it like that. But she insisted sternly. Jake is our daughter. She deserves to know her identity, the shares. They both belong to Jake. He had agreed to the adoption mainly to please the billionaireess. Though he cared about me, it wasn't like how he treated his own flesh and blood outside. But fearing her, he eventually nodded. All right, we'll do it your way. Turning to me, he added, Jake, I have to be tougher on you now. Don't let me down. Sitting up straight, I replied earnestly, I won't disappoint you, Dad and Mom. The banquet was grand. I appeared as the eldest daughter of the Montclair family, and the billionaire announced my 4% shares in the company. I stood between them, and the billionaireess squeezed my hand tighter. After his announcement, she declared me as the heir to the Montclair group, causing quite the stir. Even the billionaire seemed taken aback. Once the event ended and we returned home, he questioned her, Why didn't you discuss declaring Jake as the heir? It's a huge decision. She calmly replied, With Jake as our only daughter, isn't it only right she inherits the company? Or do you have someone else in mind? His face darkened. But Jake is not related to us by blood. With a faint smile, she responded, And neither are your illegitimate kids related to me by blood. Besides, do they have Jake's brains? Stumped by her words, he fell silent. Having overheard this conversation, I headed straight to my room. I realized it was time to showcase some talent of my own that would put those illegitimate kids of his to shame. The media went wild with stories about me. People online joked that I must have saved the galaxy in a past life, hence the billionaire couple adopting me and making me heir to the Montclair group. Though many envied me, I knew Lily wasn't one of them. In her mind, the couple was a few years away from bankruptcy, and though she was enduring hell at the Hilton family now, if she held on, she'd rise above when they struck it rich. As for her idea of hell, the struggling couple had a son, Leo. In my previous life, their motivation to adopt me wasn't out of kindness, but out of fear their son wouldn't find a bride. So they picked a child bride from the orphanage. Back then, just arriving at their home, Leo beat me half to death. They threatened me too, saying they'd kill me if I spoke of it. Back then, I was only 8 years old, scared to death. When the orphanage came to check on me, I lied. I said they treated me well, and I wanted to stay with this family. That was the beginning of my personal hell. My life only got better when I made my first real money. After that, I kept making more. And my status in that household climbed. But they still treated me like their property, threatening to kill me if I left. I wasn't scared of them, but before I could teach them a lesson, my own sister killed me. Now, Lily is living the same horrible start I had in my past life. It's a nightmare beginning. Can she turn it around? Suddenly, I'm 16. On the first day of high school, I see Lily. She's definitely managed to turn the tables, being reborn like me. She's got a few tricks up her sleeve. Besides, even as a trophy wife in her past life, she did learn a few things. She's pretty smug since back then her poor adoptive parents hadn't hit it big yet, so I couldn't attend a fancy school. But in this life, we meet early. The first thing she says to me is, "Didn't expect to see me here, did you?" She sneers, "So what if you're adopted by the richest family? Soon enough, your place will be replaced by our Hilton." She looks at me with disdain. "Sis, you probably don't know, but your family is about to go bankrupt." She smirks. "Since we were sisters once, here's a tip. Find a new place to land. Shouldn't be hard with your options. Maybe one of those guys you've been with will keep footing your bills." I'm surprised. I knew she was groomed into a socialite in her past life, but I didn't expect her to be sleeping with men at 16. Or maybe she started even earlier. I held back my disgust and pretended to be slightly annoyed. "I'm only 16. There's no way I could have been with a man." Lily scoffed. 16? You don't know those creeps love young girls." I nodded knowingly. "Got it? So, Lily, I heard from the orphanage head that the family who took you in isn't well off. Are you paying for this school by sleeping with men? Just because you're hooking up at your age doesn't mean everyone is? That stings, Lily. Don't act high and mighty with me. I know you've been used by men one too many times." She said, "Jake, better find yourself a sugar daddy before your house crumbles. Once you're no longer the wealthy heiress, you'll be degraded to nothing but a lowly prostitute." I asked her, "How do you know Montclair is going bankrupt?" Lily arched her brow confidently. "I just know." I tested her. "Looks like you're loaded now. If my family really goes under, as your sister, you won't just abandon me, right?" Lily's face changed. "Why should I care about you? Did you ever care about me?" In our last life, she did look for me, actually. She went straight to the Hilton family. She was in her 20s by then. She dropped to her knees before the struggling couple. "Please, take me in too." The Hilton family was a nightmare. I wouldn't let her walk into. They were still wary of me then. Neither said a word, watching my reaction. I said, "You've graduated from college. I'll help you get a job." I had made my money the hard way too. Lily refused the job, instead pulling me to the rooftop and pushing me off. In this life, despite knowing what that family's like, she still holds a grudge against me. Frankly, she deserves her fate. Lily's passing out trinkets in class. Her generosity doesn't earn any gratitude. To these rich kids, her stuff is just trash. "No thanks, I don't need it." My friend Connie barely glanced at the keychain before offering Lily a fleeting smile. Lily had been turned down several times now. Her face showed her mortification. "It's just a token. Take it," she insisted. Connie looked at her coolly. "I don't need it. Please take it back." Then she turned to me. "Jake, want to go horseback riding this weekend? It's been ages since you went to the stables." I said regretfully, I have to work at the company this weekend. No time. Maybe in the summer. Connie rolled her eyes. The summer? Why not just say retirement? Her words made me laugh. What, stables? Lily asked. Connie doesn't like being interrupted. Stables means stables. Need me to explain it? Lily smiled. Of course. I know what a stable is, but you probably don't know. Jake can't go riding because she's broke now. Connie paused, then chuckled. Given she's bankrupt, what are your parents' names? Which company? Never heard of Hilton's in our circle? If we don't know and you do, your family must have some solid connections, right? The other classmate started looking at Lily. Yeah, Lily, what's your dad's name? Is your company public? Which one? Showbiz? Never seen you before. Nouveau riche? Otherwise, why give us junk? The classroom buzzed with laughter, and Lily was the center of it, not how she imagined. She looked around frantically, desperate, before pointing to me, shouting, Jake, if your family isn't bankrupt, why are they forcing you to become a socialite? Everyone stopped for a second, then looked at me again. Connie's voice, lazy yet cold, rang out, Hey, if you say one more word, I won't even need Jake's legal team to get involved. I can take you to court myself. Do you even know who Jake is? Apologize to Jake now. Sure, we're just in high school now, but we've all known each other for a long time since kindergarten. A bunch of friends have gone abroad, but that doesn't mean someone can just take their place. Lily's face turned red as she looked around at everyone like they were idiots. If you all don't believe me, forget it. Just wait. Montclair is going to go bankrupt soon. Take their place. Lily's face turned red as she looked around at everyone like they were idiots. If y'all don't believe me, forget it. Just wait. Montclair is going to go bankrupt soon. Connie's icy voice came again. Didn't you hear? Apologize to Jake? Lily sneered. Apologize to a socialite. She doesn't deserve it. The classroom went silent. Connie's cold gaze lingered on Lily for a bit. Then she gave a nod to a guy next to her. He got up, walked over to Lily, and smiled politely. Hey there. I usually don't hit girls. So, he raised his hand and slapped Lily across the face. The sharp sound of the slap echoed through the room. Lily's lip was bleeding, but no one looked at her with any sympathy. She had it coming. Lily was quiet, occasionally shooting me dirty looks. I knew she was waiting for the Montclair family to go bankrupt, for her truth to come out. She was bound to be disappointed. After school, luxury cars picked everyone up. Connie and I said goodbye at the gate. Jake, Lily caught up to me. I turned around slowly. What's up? Lily whispered in my ear. I'll remember that slap. Won't be long before I give it back to you. Why me? I didn't slap you. My friend stood up for me. All right, I'll wait to see when. Won't be long before I give it back to you. Why me? I didn't slap you. My friend stood up for me. All right, I'll wait to see when you plan on doing that, Jake. I raised an eyebrow at Lily, then turned to smile at the richest woman around. Mom, why are you here? The wealthiest woman walked over gracefully. It's your first day of high school. Of course. Mom's here to pick you up. Let's go. She took my hand and led me to the car. Behind us, Lily's voice called out, Mom! The richest woman paused, turning back to look at Lily with a hint of confusion in her eyes. Mom, this is my classmate, Lily, I introduced. The wealthiest woman walked over to Lily with me, smiling warmly. Hello? Lily looked between the richest woman and me, her gaze landing on our clasped hands. She shook her head in disbelief. No way, it's not. She mumbled to herself, then looked up at the richest woman, sarcastically blurting out, What, you're putting on a show? You think I don't know what you're really like? The richest woman was shocked. Jake, what does your classmate mean by that? Lily, like she'd been provoked, laughed loudly. None of you are good people. More classmates gathered around. Fearing she'd be hit again, Lily ran off, far enough to flag down a cab. The richest woman took me to the car. Jake, what's going on with your classmate? Straightforward, I told her. She's my sister. Mom, when you and Dad went to the orphanage, you met her, remember? The richest woman thought back, nodding slightly. I remember a little, but why speak like that about me and your dad? We're not even close to her. She held my hand. Jake, is your sister mad because we separated you both? I shook my head. No, she didn't want to come with you and Dad back then. She's just jealous that my life's better, that I have a great mom. The richest woman finally smiled, gently stroking my hair. That's it. Well, if she's your sister, I'm willing to help her if she needs it. I looked out the window, speaking softly. Our sisterly bond ended a long time ago. The richest woman squeezed my hand gently. It's good you see it that way. From the day you split, you've been in different worlds. If she considered you her sister, sure, care about the bond, but clearly she doesn't. Jake, you're the future head of the Montclair family. You have a long road ahead. I want you to be happy, but I don't want you to be too soft-hearted. Mom, I understand. I definitely won't go easy, especially with Lily. Back home, I was surprised to see the wealthiest man there. He's usually so busy he only comes home every few days. He was back last night. Jake, how's high school treating you? He asked, smiling. It's school. How different can it be? I smiled back. Everyone pretty much knows each other, so not much feels different. He pulled out an elegant box. Got a little gift for you. I took it with both hands. Thanks, Dad. Inside was a diamond necklace. Had Van Cleef and Arpels designed this with your initials? I thanked him again. The richest woman spoke coldly. Just say whatever you want to say. The wealthiest man chuckled awkwardly. My daughter's in high school. I'm happy about it, so I got her a small gift. But Ethan's graduated college. I'm thinking of bringing him into our company too. Seeing the wife of the richest man stay silent, he straightened up a bit and pulled out the head of the family vibe. Jessica. I already agreed to let Jake run the company. Ethan's my son, after all. I just want to give him a position in the company. Are you against this too? I looked over at the rich man's wife. She gave me a look and chuckled softly. He's your son. Arrange things however you'd like. Jake, help me pick out a dress for tomorrow night's event. In the walk-in closet, while selecting dresses, she asked, What do you think? Mom, your feelings should matter most. I have felt bad for this woman over the years. Luckily, she gave up on the richest man a while back, so it didn't matter what he did. He couldn't hurt her anymore. She looked at me deeply. Jake, having you is enough for me. Since he wants to bring his son into the company, let him. It's not a big deal now. Lily was right. The Montclair family's enterprise began declining by now. But that was in my past life. This time, with the golden touch and the wife's backing, I firmly established myself in the company. Together with our teamwork, the company is essentially ours inside and out. The richest man has been sidelined for a while now. These past few years, he's been off chasing other women since the wife doesn't care anymore. He's just waiting for his son to graduate abroad so he can hand over the company to him. I'm announced as the future company leader, which is just a courtesy for the wife. He has his own plans. I can't wait to see his reaction when he realizes his shares have been mostly diluted. The rich man's wife selected another dress for me, sized me up with it, and nodded in satisfaction. My daughter is indeed beautiful. As soon as I got to class the next day, Connie asked me, You going to the banquet at Blue Palace tonight? Yeah, I already told my mom I would. Connie frowned. Ooh, going to these events every day is such a drag. Can't help it. You gotta balance money and connections to stay undefeated in the business world. Connie smirked. Jake, your ambition's starting to show. It's written all over your face. Lily just happened to walk by. She gave me a sneer that poorly hid her disdain. Jake, you going to another banquet? Bet that's not much fun. I remembered catching up with her at a party in the previous life, where some old guy was groping her. Being groped certainly didn't feel great, but that's not me. Connie noticed my necklace, came over for a closer look. That's beautiful. My dad got it for me last night. It's a Van Cleef and Arpels design. I shrugged. And it's a back-to-school present, so I had to wear it, no matter what. I still call him Dad for now. Lily chimed in again. That necklace is not cheap, Jake. You sure helped your family make connections, huh? She mocked. Even if you cater to them, what does it matter? Your family's business is going down soon. Say one more word, and I'll have you thrown out. Connie warned coldly. Lily? Lily grudgingly clenched her teeth, glaring at me with resentment. It's just a necklace. What's the big deal? She huffed and rolled her eyes before walking off. After class, I took Connie to a discreet corner on the field and told her about my relationship with Lily, your real sister. Then why is she treating you like that? Connie asked, puzzled. I smiled. Maybe she just can't stand seeing me doing well. What are you gonna do about it? Connie asked. I smirked. Guess I'll have to live well for her to see. Connie caught on and went back to class with me saying, Jake, did the new LV collection get sent to your place yet? I played along. I don't know, didn't pay attention. Connie raised her voice slightly. Aren't those brands a bother, filling up your closet? You have so many houses, just use one for clothes. I pressed my lips together to stifle a laugh and replied, I moved my shoes out. Another classmate leaned in. Jake, got enough LV points? I want that bag, but I'm still not eligible. Before I could answer, Connie chimed in. What are you talking about? Jake's points are obviously sufficient. In my peripheral, I saw Lily watching us, sure to be envious. And that envy hit its peak by the time school was out. The driver rolled up in a pink Porsche to pick me up. Connie quickly called out to Lily, who was trying to hail a cab. No driver for you. Lily froze. Connie answered her own question. Oh, right, your family's just new money, aren't they? We shared a glance and laughed. You probably don't know, but our dear classmate Lily's family made their wealth off stock trading. Supposedly, they made over 3 mil just like that. I looked at Lily. Really? Our school's tuition is nearly 50 grand a year. That's 150 grand over 3. Your folks must really value your education, investing half their cash on school. Lily's face turned bright red, and she raised her chin defiantly. You don't know anything. My family's got tons of money. I blinked. Oh, really? Then why no driver? Not your style? Lily felt everyone's mocking gaze and pointed around with her hand. Just wait. When my family gets rich, I'll make you all beg me. A week passed by. On Monday, Lily strutted into the classroom wearing the latest Chanel, full of herself. As she walked past me, she bragged, Who cares about houses? This is Chanel's latest and it holds its value. Lily's words made me chuckle. Do you always buy clothes that hold their value, Lily? We wear clothes once and then donate them, as long as we like it. Who cares if it's valuable? Connie chimed in. No wonder poor people like buying Chanel. It's because it holds value. That's the first time I've heard that. Lily couldn't show off and was holding a grudge. After class, she went to make a phone call. Connie and I followed, overhearing her asking a struggling couple for money. If you don't have money, sell the house. If I can make you guys earn 3 million, I can make you earn 300 million. The struggling couple really believed Lily like she was their lucky charm and sold their house. Lily started spending even bigger. She didn't even bother with her so-called valuable stuff anymore. She bought whatever we wore and sold it at a secondhand store after a few wears to get new things. But spending more than she made, it didn't take long until she ran out of money. The Hilton family moved back to their old neighborhood, into a rented place waiting for Lily to make it big. But what Lily had learned in her past life only got her that 3 million, and she made the couple borrow money to buy some socks, losing it all and couldn't even afford underwear. Lily got beaten again, with Leo pinning her down, while the struggling couple just watched. Bring back that 3 million, and we won't let him hit you again, they said. Lily screamed for help, but agreed. I saw all this in a video. Lily hadn't been to school for a while. The school didn't care much since she was just nouveau riche anyway. I thought Lily wasn't coming back ever, planning to make her suffer when I got less busy. Killing her hope too quickly would be boring. But surprisingly, she came back to school looking all fancy. I barely said anything, and she was already in my face gloating, Surprise, Jake, I'm back. I really didn't care if she was in class or not. After class, Connie dragged me outside. How come Lily's back? Doesn't she spend all her family's money? Remembering Lily's socialite skills from the past, I decided to investigate. The results were shocking. Lily was involved with Ethan. Maybe they were involved in the last life too. The richest man wanted Ethan to rise in ranks, to kick me and the top man's wife out of the Montclair family business. With Lily's past memories, she'd surely help Ethan. I wondered how she'd react when she realized the Montclair empire was already under my and the top man's wife's control. I wanted to see, but before that, I'd make sure she didn't have an easy time. I had evidence of her and Ethan's rendezvous captured. Hotel visits, Wild adventures. I sent it anonymously to the struggling couple. They took Lillian, hoping she'd be their son, Leo's wife. But now she wasn't pure in their eyes. When Lily got home from school that evening, she was beaten up by Leo again. "I gave you money. Why are you still hitting me?" she cried. The couple couldn't let it go, joining in the beating. Little slut, little whore, sleeping with men at such a young age, and even doing it in a park. We raised you to act like this. All three put Lily through hell. I thought after this beating, Lily would leave the Hilton family, but she didn't. She waited, hoping they'd get rich. The Hilton family did eventually get money again. To them, Lily was filthy, not worthy of being their daughter-in-law. If she liked messing with men, they made her do it for money, forcing her into the social scene. But the men in this life didn't have the status they did before, not bringing in much money. The money never reached her pocket. Lily waited patiently for the Hilton family's windfall from the past, but all they had was what she brought in. Meanwhile, the Montclair group topped the national business charts again. Lily finally realized something was wrong. She found Ethan, asking if Montclair was going bankrupt. Ethan laughed. "What are you talking about? Montclair going bankrupt? No way, not for the next 20 years at least. How can this be? Why is everything different?" Lily was puzzled. I was leaving the company. When Lily saw me, she ran up and grabbed my arm. "You're the cause, aren't you? Why am I the one still suffering? It's got to be you." I shoved her off, brushing off the non-existent dust from where she touched. "Your suffering has nothing to do with me." Lily shook her head vigorously. "No, this isn't how it's supposed to be." She turned and ran off. I looked at Ethan. Ethan cleared his throat. "I don't know her. How could I know a crazy person?" Was knowing Lily something to be ashamed of? Now I didn't see Lily again until 6 months later when she showed up at my house heavily pregnant. The richest man's wife recognized her as my sister and asked me first, "Jake, are you going to help your sister?" Before I could say anything, Lily chimed in, all smug. "Who needs your help anyway? Let me tell you, the child I'm carrying is Robert's. It's a son, the heir of this family. I've come home today. You two better get out of here right now." The richest man's wife and I exchanged a glance. I saw a deep shock in her eyes. The richest man himself walked in. He was startled at first, then quickly approached. "Lily, what's brought you here?" Lily, acting all coy, clung to the guy she should have called dad in another life. "Honey, I'm carrying your son. You need to make them leave, or I won't have this child." "No, don't say that." The richest man gently tapped Lily's belly, clearly showing how much he cared for the baby. He took a deep breath and came over to us. "Let's get this straight then, Jessica. Let's divorce. You and Jake can leave. Don't worry. I'll give you $300 million as compensation." The richest man's wife just looked at him, emotionless. "You're the one who should leave." The richest man smiled. "Jessica, we've shared something, and I don't want us to be enemies. $300 million is plenty." I glanced at the richest man's wife and stepped up protectively. "Robert, you're the one who should go. And FYI, tomorrow at 9 a.m., there's a shareholders meeting to dismiss you as chairman." The richest man, well, Robert, now had nothing. His eyes widened. "What did you say?" I smiled slightly. "You'll find out tomorrow morning." Everything Jessica and I had worked on secretly for years paid off at 9 a.m. Robert was removed from his position as chairman of the Montclair family company. Jessica, the richest man's wife, was now the largest shareholder. I'm the second largest. In that moment, Robert realized what he had truly lost. Not just him, Ethan, and all his people were expelled from the company. When Lily learned about it, she went completely crazy. The people from the Hilton family called her a liability, saying she got pregnant but got nothing in return. They beat her until she lost the baby. In a fit of rage, Lily grabbed a kitchen knife and brutally killed those three. When she came to me later, she was covered in blood, her face as pale as a sheet. "Sis, let's do it over just one more time. I swear I'll live better than you." She charged at me with the knife, but in the next moment, security surrounded her and took it away. The cops came and took Lily away. As they pushed her into the squad car, she kept yelling, "Rebirth! I want to be reborn." Robert begged us multiple times, but Jessica refused to forgive him. With Jessica around, even with money, Robert couldn't make a comeback. He ultimately took his money and retired abroad. Ethan went abroad too and never returned. Lily was diagnosed with a mental illness after being detained. They sent her to a mental hospital. Jessica took me to visit her there. Seeing me, she just laughed, muttering, "Rebirth," once more and again. I gave a lot of money to the head of the hospital, asking him to treat my sister well, with electroconvulsive therapy and sedatives as much as possible. After that, Jessica and I left. The road down the mountain was smooth. I glanced over at Jessica, my mom. See, now I have a mom and a home too. It feels good.